I'd be happy to write it. My business partner took over the company in my absence. Removed my name from the front doors, the website, even the business cards. And by the time I walked back into the office, strangers were congratulating him on becoming the founder. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. Because the only copy of the original shareholder agreement wasn't in that building. It was locked inside my lawyer's fireproof cabinet. I remember standing across the street from our office in downtown Denver with a paper cup of coffee growing cold in my hands. The polished glass entrance reflected a woman I barely recognized. Tired eyes. Hospital bracelet marks still fading from my wrist. 3 months away recovering from emergency surgery had changed me more than I wanted to admit. My name was gone. Not covered. Not replaced temporarily. Gone. Where the sign had once read Harrison & Cole Consulting, it now simply said Cole Consulting Group. People walked in and out without noticing what had disappeared. Funny how quickly the world adjusts when someone erases you. I crossed the street anyway. The receptionist smiled politely. "Can I help you?" For a second I wondered if she honestly didn't know who I was. "I'm Emily Harrison." The smile disappeared. Oh. That single word carried more discomfort than a paragraph ever could. A few moments later Daniel stepped out of the conference room wearing the same navy suit he'd always favored for board meetings. He smiled, but it never reached his eyes. "Emily, you should have called." I looked past him. My office had someone else's family photos sitting on the desk. By office. We had to reorganize. By name. He sighed dramatically. It was a business decision. Business decision. Those words echoed louder than traffic outside. We had started the company together 11 years earlier in a tiny rented office with mismatched chairs and a coffee maker that leaked every morning. We worked weekends. We skipped vacations. We celebrated our first client by eating takeout on the floor because we couldn't afford furniture. When people praised the company's success, they usually noticed Daniel first. He loved networking. He loved cameras. He loved microphones. I loved building systems. Hiring people. Making impossible deadlines somehow possible. Different strengths. Equal partners. Or so I believed. The surgery had come suddenly. A ruptured appendix. Complications. Weeks in the hospital followed by months of recovery. During that time Daniel insisted he'd handle everything. Just focus on getting healthy. I believed him. Every week he'd send cheerful updates. We landed another client. The team's doing great. Don't worry about work. I never imagined those updates carefully avoided mentioning the legal changes unfolding behind my back. That night I couldn't sleep. 3 in the morning again. The refrigerator light illuminated my kitchen while late-night television played softly from the living room. My mind kept replaying every conversation we'd ever had. Had there been signs? There always are. I remembered a board meeting 2 years earlier. Daniel had joked, "If Emily ever retires, I'll finally get my way around here." Everyone laughed. Including me. Another memory surfaced. A client had congratulated Daniel for building such a successful company. He'd accepted the compliment without mentioning my name. Small moments. Easy to dismiss. Until they formed a pattern. The next morning I called my attorney, Susan. She'd handled our incorporation years ago. "Come in," she said. No panic. No dramatic promises. Just calm confidence. Her office smelled exactly the same as always, coffee and old books. She listened without interrupting. Finally she stood. "I have something." From a fireproof cabinet she removed a thick folder with my handwriting across the front. Original shareholder agreement. I stared at it. I thought Daniel kept the originals. Susan smiled slightly. He asked. "And?" "I told both of you years ago that originals belonged in legal custody." She opened the folder. There was both signatures. Every page initialed. Most importantly, a clause neither of us had discussed in years. Neither partner could alter ownership, company branding, voting structure, or executive authority without written consent from both shareholders witnessed by legal counsel. Susan looked at me. "Did you sign anything while hospitalized?" "No." "Power of attorney?" "No." She nodded. "Then this gets interesting." What followed moved slower than I expected. Court filings. Depositions. Financial records. Email discovery. Daniel acted confident through every hearing. He produced amended corporate documents showing himself as majority owner. At first glance, everything appeared legitimate. Even I began wondering if I'd somehow forgotten signing something before surgery. Then Susan asked one question during deposition. Please identify the witness present when Ms. Harrison signed these amendments. Daniel named someone I'd never met. Susan quietly slid another document across the table. Hospital admission records. Time stamped. I was unconscious under anesthesia at the exact moment my supposed signature had been notarized. Silence. Real silence. The kind that changes everything. Daniel's attorney requested a recess. I sat there staring at my folded hands. Not angry. Just angry. Because betrayal isn't loud. It drains the sound from everything. During discovery, another surprise emerged. The notary whose seal appeared on the amended documents denied witnessing my signature altogether. Someone had copied an old seal impression from prior paperwork. The documents weren't merely unauthorized. They were fabricated. The courtroom felt different after that. The confidence Daniel had carried for months began slipping away. Employees testified they had been instructed to refer to him as sole founder. The marketing company admitted they received orders to remove my biography from the website. Former board members revealed they had questioned the changes but were told I'd voluntarily stepped away due to permanent health issues. Permanent. I remembered reading those words in an email. I hadn't cried then. I did now. Not because of the lie itself. Because he'd already planned a future where I never returned. The twist arrived on the final day. Susan asked permission to introduce one last piece of evidence. An old voicemail. Daniel's attorney objected. The judge allowed it. The recording came from nearly 5 years earlier. I'd forgotten it even existed. Daniel's voice filled the courtroom. If anything ever happens to one of us, promise me we'll never let anyone take what we built together. 50-50, always. He laughed afterward. So keep Susan holding those originals. You know I'd lose them. The courtroom became completely still. He had suggested leaving the originals with Susan. His own words destroyed the entire defense. He couldn't argue ignorance. He had remembered the agreement perfectly. The judge's ruling came 2 weeks later. Every unauthorized amendment was void. Ownership reverted immediately to its original structure. My name had to be restored to every legal record, company document, marketing material, and building sign. Daniel was removed as managing partner pending further civil proceedings regarding fraudulent filings. When I returned to the office, the workers were reinstalling the original sign. Harrison and Cole Consulting. One installer looked at me. Good to have the right name back. I smiled. Not because the sign mattered. Because the truth had finally become visible again. Months later, I bought Daniel's remaining shares through a court-approved settlement. People often ask if revenge feels satisfying. It doesn't. Relief does. Walking into a board meeting where no one questions whether you belong. That's satisfying. Hearing employees discuss future projects without whispering. That's satisfying. Trusting my own instincts again. That matters most. Tonight it's nearly 3 a.m. The refrigerator light spills across my kitchen floor just like it did during those long sleepless nights. A mug of coffee warms my hands while the neighborhood outside rests in complete silence. Tomorrow I'll chair another board meeting, and for the first time in years, the agenda doesn't include lawyers or court dates. Only ideas. Only growth. Only possibility. Losing my name from that company taught me something I never expected. A title on a door can disappear overnight. A website can be rewritten in minutes. Business cards can be thrown away without a second thought. But integrity leaves a paper trail. And the people who quietly protect it, like one careful lawyer who insisted on keeping a single original agreement locked safely away, can preserve an entire future. The sunrise is beginning to color the sky outside my window now. I take one last sip of coffee, gather my notes for tomorrow, and realize that what was restored wasn't only my company. It was my confidence. And unlike a name on a sign, no one will ever erase that again. If this story stayed with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories of courage, truth, and second chances. Your support truly means the world and helps us keep sharing these unforgettable journeys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.